Hello everyone, Syed Imran Bukhari with the Global Mind. We all know that AI companies need data to build, train, and refine machine learning models. Without data, an AI algorithm is just empty code with no way to recognize patterns, make predictions, or generate human like responses. But the key question is that how and from where they get this data. One of the sources which these AI companies are using for data is books and academic content. They use large text corpora compiled from scanned libraries and published literature. Besides, they use open access academic repositories and paid partnerships with news publishers and media archives for high quality writing. But things are not that rosy and simple. There are huge concerns that AI companies buy physical books, cut off their spines, scan the loose pages into digital text for training data, and discard the physical remains. Booksellers globally have sounded alarm that specialized rare editions are out of the print historical titles are being swept up and pulped, a concern highlighted in recent reports regarding industry practices. This practice, called destructive scanning, has sparked intense public backlash over the permanent loss of rare, out of the print, and historical human knowledge. Recently, The Guardian reported that Australian booksellers are alarmed over horrific destruction of the rare titles to feed AI. The practice seems widespread among generative AI companies, and recent reports suggest intermediaries are stepping up to facilitate the process. Australian second-hand booksellers recently experienced waves of orders that did not fit with usual customer patterns. A week back, one of the writing on the Telegraph termed the practice as cultural barbarism. It says that in its attempt to boost AI power, Silicon Valley is buying millions of rare editions, scanning them, and then shredding the originals. However, this controversy is not something new. Between 2004 and 11, some scanning contractors were caught throwing away damaged library books after digitizing for Google Books project. Although it was 15 years ago with no AI companies, but surely shown a trend. Then we have this Internet Archive lawsuit 2020 and 2023. Internet Archive was scanning library books and lending them digitally. Publishers were sued. To settle, companies had to take down books. Last year, a lawsuit was brought against AI company Anthropic in the United States by books authors. It was accused of the same things: buying physical books, slicing off the spines to more efficiently scan the pages, then pulping the remains. The judge ruled that Anthropic's approach to buying physical books and making digital copies for training its large language model was fair use, but identified that the company had illegally acquired millions of copyrighted books. Anthropic has agreed to pay at least $1.5 billion to a group of authors and publishers in the largest copyright settlement in the US history. It will pay an estimated $3,000 per work to roughly 500,000 authors. The company will also delete the pirated works it downloaded from shadow libraries like Library Genesis and Pirate Library Mirror. So why AI companies do it? 1. They ensure to clean data. Pre-LLM, in other words, pre-2022 printed books lack internet contamination or AI-generated text, keeping the training data in high quality. 2. To prevent model collapse. Feeding AI fresh human-written text prevents models from degrading by training on their own low-quality output. 3. Legal efficiency. Industrial high-speed scanners need loose pages rather than bound books, and US courts have ruled that digitizing legally bought books for internal training is legal. So why people are concerned? They fear loss of cultural heritage. Rare niche, or singular historical copies are being permanently pulped and eliminated from the physical world. Unique handwritten margin notes, author inscriptions, and historical artifacts tied to physical books vanish forever when the object is destroyed. Critics argue that trillion-dollar tech companies buy rare and used books for cents, strip their value, and use human culture to train commercial models that compete with human creators. So, why AI companies need these books and other writings? They need copyright clean training data. Books published before 1929 in the US are copyright free. Companies can legally scan and feed them to AI without lawsuits. Pre internet text. Old books were not scraped from the web, so they give AI new data that isn't already in the ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude. 2. Quality is better than quantity. The internet is messy. Reddit fights, clickbait, advertisements, AI generated spam. Companies need fresh and authentic data. All books are different. They are more reliable and accurate as they went through publishers, editors, and fact checkers. Provides deep reasoning. Philosophy, science, history books show long term logic, not 280 character texts. They are less biased. New AI trend on internet data starts copying other AI. All books add human diversity. So that's why Meta, OpenAI, Google are still licensing academic publishers, university libraries, and scanning projects. 3. Specialized knowledge. All textbooks from 1950 to 1990 contain foundational knowledge that isn't online. To make AI write better, it needs literature of every region over hundreds of years, which needs all books. For AGI to understand humans, it needs how we thought 100 years ago, which can only be found in all writings. 4. Building memory for AGI. AGI needs common sense and world knowledge. We cannot learn that from TikTok comments. We get it from encyclopedias, history books, science journals from the last 200 years. So companies are literally buying physical libraries, scanning them, and digitizing them. 5. Competitive moat. If company A has exclusive access to Oxford University Press archives between the period 1800 to 2000, and the company B doesn't, their AI will be smarter at reasoning and writing. It's the new mad race. AI that owns the best books rule the future. From where they buy these books are managed data. 1. Publishers and academic presses. This is the biggest source. They buy it from, to say, Oxford University Press, Cambridge University Press, Springer, Elsevier, Wiley, Taylor and Francis. They license millions of textbooks, journals, and backlists from 1800 to 2000. They sign multi-year licensing. For example, Meta, OpenAI, Google paid 100 million plus dollars to some publishers for training rights. In return, they get copyright cleared, edited, high quality academic text. The second source, libraries and archives. Internet Archive Project, Gutenberg, HathiTrust Digital Library. These archives already scan 10 million plus public domain books. AI firms license the full data set. From national libraries, Library of Congress, US, British Library. AI companies fund mass scanning projects in exchange for early access. Companies claim that once scanned, the books go back to the library. Libraries keep them, they are not destroyed. University libraries like Harvard, Oxford, Stanford, they kept it in reservoirs. Those sell access to rare collections and get funding digitization. So they already own the digital files. Physical books stay in the warehouses. Number three, digitization companies plus data brokers. They get it from firms like ProQuest, Gale, Absco spent 20 years scanning all newspapers, books, and theses. AI companies now buy their entire catalogs. For example, 19th century British Library newspapers dataset bought for training. 4. Secondary markets plus private collections. Out of print book wholesalers, companies buy pallets of old textbooks, scan them, then resell, especially for niche subjects like medicine, law, engineering. Pre 1990 companies buy it from estate sales and old school libraries. Non English sources. For French, Chinese, German, Russian, Arabic, Persian, they are buying from publishers in each region. This area is still wide open. But in some cases, books do get destroyed. This happens when libraries throw away moldy, duplicate, or damaged books. It happens all the time. If it was scanned first, great. If not, it is still lost. Similarly, publishers destroy unsold stock to save warehouse costs. That happened long before AI. Then we have an issue of bad contractors as well. A few shady scanning vendors in the past tossed books to save storage. That caused the lawsuits. So the truth lies between the two extremes. Court records and investigations revealed that AI companies have purchased millions of physical books, cut off their bindings with hydraulic machines, fed the loose pages through industrial high speed scanners to train AI models, and then discarded or recycled the remains. Under the US first sale doctrine, once a company legally buy a, a physical book, it owns it. Federal courts have ruled that converting these legally purchased books into internal digital text for AI training qualifies as transformative fair use provided the digital copies are not publicly shared. AI companies' internal documents showed that each firms are involved in secretive supply chains and anonymous bulk buying requests to avoid public anger. Such secrecy creates doubts and apprehensions about their practices. The real concern in 2026 is how to reduce the risks of book destruction. Countries should push for legislation clearly excluding the permanent physical destruction of cultural artifacts and out of print books. The secondary market brokers, liquidators, and wholesalers should be bound by law to publicly disclose if bulk book purchases are intended for corporate destruction. The public libraries, universities, and charitable organizations can add clauses to their surplus or weeded book disposal contracts that forbid buyers from destroying it. Last but not the least, sellers can prioritize direct to consumer sales or community donations rather than routing pallet loads of books through anonymous middlemen brokers. Thanks for watching.